Hey gang, it's me, Uncle Todd here. Just got through watching the new episode of She-Hulk, and we are now, after the preliminaries of the first episode being the origin story and second episode setting up the whole working at a law firm thing, we are now into a lawyer show. Turns out that the footage from the fight from Shang-Chi, Blonsky explains that he was taken against his will by Wong out of the cell and forced to fight, and then when he was over, he voluntarily came back to his cell. So Jen has to find Wong. Luckily he does show up from her messages, and he confirms Blonsky's story, which is a little bit at odds with the footage in Shang-Chi, considering it came off looking like they were actually partners. Maybe he's doing it as a favor to Blonsky for doing that with him. Who knows? Anyways, Blonsky has seven soulmates, all different women who he met during his time in jail, writing letters back and forth. So he has a plot of land that he's going to use to make a meditation center, so they're going to fund it. So he does have a place to stay, and he does have a way to earn a living. But they're concerned about the abomination thing. And to prove that they have nothing to fear from, he changes into the abomination and then changes back to show he can control it. Well, they're a little undecided, even with Wong's testimony. Although that does get a bit funny thing at the end when they tell Wong, you realize by admitting all this, you've admitted to a crime, and we will have to prosecute you. At which point he says, I gotta go, and he zips back to Kumite. The secondary story involves Jennifer's former work colleague at the DA's office who got scammed by a shape-shifting white elf. Or light elf, I should say, not white elf. And he's suing her for the return of the money he spent, like on cars and other things. And she keeps shape-shifting into different people and just causing havoc with the case. At one point, she shape-shifted into the judge and tried to get the trial thrown out. But these two merge by, these two plots merge by having Jen testify about how delusional her co-worker is. So that, yes, he could have been tricked into thinking he was dating a famous musical artist. And he wins the case. And in his in a side remark he made about if only they could take away the powers of that light elf, this wouldn't happen anymore, she secures Bronsky's release by taking one of those inhibitors that Bruce made and fitting it for Bronsky. Therefore, they let him out. Well, with that success underway, she returns home triumphant, only to be attacked by the wrecking crew, who are secretly trying to get a sample of her blood for someone they work for. But, and probably for me, the funniest moment of the whole thing, when they grab her, she's screaming, oh yeah. And then she changes into the She-Hulk. They can't get the blood sample. The needle just bends into a corkscrew, and all of their magical weapons are ineffective against her. I'm not even sure she feels them when they hit her with them. She has to get a good line there where she asks them if they've robbed an Asgardian construction worker. There's also a couple of really good fourth wall breaks. One is while she's driving and she turns, takes her hands off the wheel. You can tell the car is still moving, which just completely destroys any kind of realism in the scene, and talks about how this is not a show that's going to have a lot of cameo people in it. You know, just because the first episode had Bruce and the second one had Bronsky and now they've got Wong, but just remember whose name is on the credits, which is pretty good. And then they go into the opening credits. And the second one is when the associate she works with in the supernatural section of the law firm sits down at her table at the bar and starts discussing his case while she'd been discussing her case with the paralegal. And she just kind of leans into the camera and says, merging plot A and B. Nice. Yeah, this is just such a fun show. I may even like this better than I liked WandaVision, and I loved WandaVision. All in all, the show's really getting good. I'm really liking it. Can't wait to see who her next client is. Well, that's all I got to say about this one. Please hit like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.